And we're back. This is Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3, and we last time we were around, we just finished day 1 of racing. Uh, let's see. Can we figure out? We did 4 races and we won them. We raced 2 guys from the rolling guy crew, and then 1 from Fine Drive. I believe these were the 240 guys, and these are the Toyota guys. So now we're in day 2. It's sunny. It's cool. Alright, so we're going to stick. Last time we left off, we had just upgraded our engine to stage 2. And so let's see how that goes. We'll stick to the C1 inner loop as well. A lot of cars to be had over here. Essentially, you know, you set up your first car to be your mining car. You're just mining for money, trying to find easy wins. And for the most part, they are gonna come pretty easy in the early going, but they will get a lot more difficult. And again, as I've spoken about that strategy earlier of using what's around you to your advantage. Oh, not paying attention. Not paying attention to the road. Let's see how easy this guy will be. He's sticking with me pretty closely. Oh no. Maybe this bump in power has got me nervous. Oh. Downshifted a little too early. Okay. Real simple. I'm gonna drive this like Miss Daisy. Oh, close one. Oh. And play I will. Here's my next opponent. He looks like one of those guys already. Yep. Go straight for running me off the road strategy. He is pretty quickly as well. Yeah, I'll do that too. You know what? Whatever. I'll ride dirty. You started it. Don't judge my driving. This is just a game after all. I'm really not like this in real life. Oh. There you go. Uh-oh. Oh. Next guy's right up ahead. Easy peasy. Not too long of a drive. Cool. 8.5 11. I would totally get 11 and just get the register my car as Mc11. That'd be pretty funny actually. But I always prefer the 11 front end over the Troano's front for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I love me some pop-up headlights, but that 11 front end though. Oh, swerve. Oh. Oopsie. Mr. Wind Impala. I'm the broad daylight newcomer, yet all my races are at night. That's pretty interesting. Alright. And because of the stage 2 engine bump that we did, and obviously we're still at level 1 cooling, it did pretty much raise my temps quicker this time. Only 3 races, I believe. So let's call it a day. 3 races today instead of the 4 from yesterday. Not bad. Still sunny out, so let's polish her up. A few more for rolling and a few more for fine drive. Cool. On to day 3. Back to the inner loop. That's just essentially how you reset your car. Just go back to the garage. Go take a nap. Let your car sleep. Yep, there you go. As repetitive as that can be, I don't think I could ever. I've never really gotten sick of it. It's just the anticipation. Plus, it's you never really line up at the same spot with each car anyway. Racing. Now the reason I stick to the inner loop first, I could probably do the outer loop, go back and forth, but I kind of like to just race through everyone in that particular region and just beat the whole section before I move along. You'll find that certain regions will cater to different types of cars as well. I mean, the C1 inner loop has got its own great section of twists and turns, and the outer's got a nice section of straights. And when you get to the other regions of that, it's really just, shoot the gap. Oh man, ooh, look at that. That's a highlight reel. You'll have other regions where it just straight runs and it's all top end, and this car would probably get demolished within 2 years. But that's for down the line. But let's get back to a previous point I was talking about earlier, how possibly you could have gotten into cars or tuning in general. I mean, I kind of briefly spoke about how I stumbled upon a sport compact car magazine in the mid-90s and just kind of escalated from there. Little standout kind of details of that era were obviously the huge kind of gaudy body kits. Oh no, I just killed my front end and he slowed down. But one thing I was always a big fan of too was clear taillights. Everybody hated clear taillights, but I guess it all depends on what car. But if you can make it work, you can make it work. I know a lot of the that kind of went up and fell off pretty quickly, but a lot of the BMW guys took that on for a while, post 2000s, and just rolled with it. And it was kind of their whole signature thing: clear taillights with every color light bulbs as your brake lights. You know, you'd match your bulb color with the color of your car. So green BMW 3 Series would have green brake lights. It was just pretty hilarious to see Christmas trees kind of flashing through the highway. But I guess you had fun with it. That's what it was all about. Oh no, let's go. Stay in C1. All right. Man, remember like Super Street or Import Tuner? Those guys, like the Max Power comic books and or mini comics in the back. Hey, are you not available to race? Because I want to race. Yeah, and I think after definitely seeing that one one issue with the chop top drag EK hatch. That's when I was a big fan of the EK hatch for a while. You know, and then I've always played racing games and never really took it serious, but especially when, you know, Need for Speed came out, and I definitely played one of the older Windows versions. It was probably like pre-Windows 95. I want to say it was Windows 3.0 or 3.2. Was that even? Did that even exist? But it's definitely one of those. I think a few details I remember from that game is you definitely were in the desert, and you either drove a Lamborghini Diablo V10 or a Ferrari, and your whole goal, I think just my own personal goal at the time was just to run away from every cop imaginable. That's all we ever did. We never really raced around whatever course was available. But definitely Gran Turismo was a big starting point for a lot of people. I think if I remember correctly, I don't remember which one it was, but after you picked your vehicle, I think your course and then your transmission, there was an option to pick, I guess, the type of car you wanted to run, whether it was standard or drift. And I guess I just didn't know at that point. It was, you know, mid-90s. I don't even remember when that came out, but it was definitely before the time that everybody knew what drift was, and I always just randomly picked it just because I was sliding that Eclipse around corners like no tomorrow, power sliding, which I really only knew because of, you know, the old, you know, IMSA or GT races back then with the Dodge Vipers, and they were known for power sliding everything. So it really didn't even dawn on me until like way after I even got into Initial D, and that yet again was another kind of accident of a find. I just remember being in Chinatown, and my best friend was looking for I should probably shift. My best friend was looking for Gundam VCDs, not even DVDs yet. It was that step in between where you had to find a specific VCD player, and everything was kind of split in 2 discs. It was like an enhanced CD, you could say. But I just happened to see, like, oh no. Yeah, talking and driving, those Top Gear guys could really, I could really learn a lot from them, because I definitely cannot do it here. Oh no, I'm being called out by the boss. I guess I raced everybody. But yeah, as he was looking for these Gundam VCDs, I just happened to see one with like all black color cover that had Japanese you know, characters on it. It didn't even have a title in English, and it had this car on the cover, the AE86, the Trueno. So I picked it up, and that's how I got into it. Again, just purely by accident. At a time where Gundam was the shit, I picked Initial D. And eventually, you know, my best friend, he got into it a few years later. Again, randomly, it's just, everything with cars for me is just kind of random. We picked it up mainly because probably around the time Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0 came out. Oh gosh. A friend of ours had it for Dreamcast, and that was greatly overlooked. That came out a month before GTA Spec, I believe. And you know, a month after that game came out, a movie by the name of The Fast and the Furious came out. Plug, tuna, no crust. That fucking quote stuck with me forever. So much so that that's exactly why I started eating tuna sandwiches, but with the crust. I don't mind the crust. That's alright. And I guess that's why this game or this series kind of flew over everybody's radars. Right when it became widespread for Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0, there were too many other things going on at that time for people to have even paid attention to it. But if you were in the know, you're lucky. And if you play this game, you're awesome. And you spent a ton of hours in this game. Like, I probably spent, I don't even know. I definitely had 4 separate memory cards dedicated to this game. One of which was just for straight battling, or whenever I would go over to my friend's house, I'd have, you know, certain cars just tuned up for it. I went through the quest train like probably 4 different times just to, you know, go through it over and over again and see if I could win it with different cars and different strategies. Oh no, I'm ahead and I might lose if I hit something very hard. I also feel my tires are still grippy, but I know my car's not doing well. I'm getting very hot. Yep. That's 1 down. Oh no. Come on. Oh no. I'm either gonna get really lucky or I'm gonna lose this race. Let's hope it's the first one, as long as I remember to shift. Oh, bus in the way. No. This race is going pretty long and I'm not paying attention. Oh, by the hairs on my chinny chin. I just won that race. Man, I'm sweating. My pits are soaked. I think it's time to rest. Let's bring her back to the garage. 5 races just today. Wow, that boss battle was a +2, so that was kind of difficult. Oh, all right, and let's see, anything new? Oh, you can sell your car. What? I'm only gonna get half back. Fuck that. Oh, sorry. Okay, first off, let's save progress. That's not the save progress. 8 megabytes. Man, you remember when like that was big for a memory card, and then you had like the Mad Catz upgrade from like a 32, a 16, a 32, or 64 was super massive. Man, now look how far we've come. We're up to like 64, even 128 gig micro SD cards. All right, let's go. Day 4, still sunny out. Some days you will get into rain, and that's when you have to play a different strategy. I could actually explain that a little bit later on. That's why I picked this particular car, because it's a great miner in the rain as well. And just mine things. It's like Bitcoining. I'm Bitcoin mining. That's what I'm doing to these cars. No, he's pretty close. This is where, like, I guess those high durability transmission upgrades really come into play, because you're never really, you just stick into like 3rd or 4th gear for a prolonged amount of time. You just kill yourself. His name is Drift Baby, and I'm still broad daylight newcomer. Alright. Oh no. It's pretty close. Thank you. Nice. Alright. I mean, you could use those buses in your favor as well, but they'll also come at your disadvantage sometimes. It'll get you by surprise. I mean, rendering distance, certain highway speeds are gonna kill you in the long run. But let's not get too technical about what is it, over 10-year-old game now? 12? Hey man, still lives up for me. Spend hours in this game. Okay, this guy. Oh no. Use you as a buffer. We didn't do that in any racing game. Use their opponent as a turn buffer. I used to do that like crazy in Gran Turismo. Whatever, it worked. Speaking of racing season's in full effect. What are y'all's favorite facet of racing? I mean, I have no biases. I watch them all. I watch like NASCAR, Indy, Formula One, World Endurance Championship. I keep up with them. There's a lot of interesting going on in WEC, especially with the front wheel drive, front engine Nismo LMP1, which will be making its debut at the 24-hour Le Mans coming up. Formula One this season's been pretty boring, so no new shit there. I actually missed the last couple of races for NASCAR, which I should probably get back onto as well. I know the Tudor Cup, and it might have been the Indy guys at Belle Isle recently had a really wet and wild race. That was interesting, you know. Man, let's go. Next guy. But yeah, I mean, how did you get into racing? What was the first race you ever saw? I mean, again, I mentioned earlier, I've always played racing games, but I never really was that serious into them. Probably until like I was at I want to say it was a family get together. People I didn't even know, like grew up with like distant aunts and uncles, but I guess the head of the family kind of noticed I was bored since I was the only one my age there. Everybody else was really old, and just happened to be flipping through channels, and just happened to see a race. I believe it was the IMSA series back then, but it was like the GT and touring car series race at Trois Rivières, probably. If I believe that's the one I remember. That's when like the Dodge Vipers had this huge, like, I guess, rivalry with the Porsches back then, and it was a fun little race. And that's what really like kind of planted the seed. That was like my gateway, and then I got into like the Speed World Challenge, especially with the who was it, the Acura team that they had that just dominated. And that was still with the Integra Type R's. That was even before, that predated the RSXs. You know, I remember them running the RSXs for the first season when it first came out, and their ITRs were still very dominant in that class. That's where it all began for me, pretty much. Definitely. Had to use a wall as a turn buffer there. I don't think I'm gonna win this race. Insert Ja Rule's race from Fast and the Furious here. No, Monica. Funny dip. Oh no, it wasn't white. It was yellow. Yet another yellow Honda. I'm gonna have a chance with this one. Yeah, definitely not. Oh, I might get lucky. I might win against the shooting star. Oh man, if I get this. There's that trail braking technique. Oh! Another one by the hairs on the chinny chin chin. And with that, I think I'm going to definitely call that a night for this car. No new parts, no new cars. 4 races, 4 days. That's it for this hour. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching. Thumb it, please. Just sub it as well, and if you want, you could scrub it down on the comments below. I also have links at the bottom for some follows. Check me out, so you keep up on track with the future episodes as well as other series. I like to play really old games that like to piss me off, because that's what they did to me when I was young. Cool, thanks.